Hi everyone, welcome to the Mind Massage of the 3rd of September 2021. We are already into September and I'm with my co-host, Dr. Tom Atkins. It's always a pleasure and I just love doing Mind Massage with you, Tom.
Greetings from Frederick, Maryland, under blue skies here. And we have emerged, if folks who are watching know the geography and anatomy and recent history of the east part of the United States, we had a major hurricane hit Louisiana. So we'll be sending some really wonderful energies to the folks there that are without power and without water and without communication in lots of places, and many, sadly, without life. It was a big storm, and it made its way up the coast. And I'm close to 1,000+ miles away from that. But as it came back up, it dumped the rain big time, and we had tornado warnings here and whatnot over the past couple of days. And 24 hours ago, the river in my backyard here was about as high as I've ever seen it in 5 years. And I was thinking this morning that probably a lot of other kind of life lost its home there, not to mention its life. So all of the different ways that Mother Nature finds ways to recycle, and then all of a sudden there's a breath of fresh air and a silence and clear skies. So we're the dynamics of reset here today, letting go and surrendering and finding new space, giving ourselves permission to maybe do nothing for a half a second.
Yeah. And it's
honored to be alone.
Pardon?
I'm honored to be alone. Thank you.
It's amazing when we look at the bigger picture and we can actually get to a place where we're like, what happened? How did this happen? How did I land up here? And you start asking these questions and you just can't come to terms with what is happening in the world right now or what is even happening in your community. And there's, we can actually hone in on ourselves. I think that really relates to the topic where we say unrejecting, unmissioning, and permissioning, where we can look at ourselves and say, okay, here's the situation right now. Who am I in the situation? Who am I as today's version of me? And can I let go of yesterday's version so that I can meet today ready as I am and just be able to be at my best, at my strongest.
And playing with the contraction of the day, which is personal mission into permission. And when we're in a place where we are saying X and producing X, which is pretty much the paradigms that we were all educated into, we are carrying out yesterday's version of possibly duty or something that we feel we should do. And we're going to hopefully today give ourselves and everybody listening to be done. But it comes with a brand new freedom, right? You were talking this morning about being free to do the thing that you're probably going to do anyway, right? And realistically, we pretty much do the same stuff every day. And that gives a certain sense of stability and security and predictability. And that's a workability that most of the ecosystem conversations that we talk about in natural cycles, Mother Nature can depend on that, and then we get to depend on each other. We get to depend on the people in our lives. And then we get to depend on ourselves as well. But, and it comes with a big but, most of the time we do those things because somebody's planted an idea that we should do them for ethical reasons, for moral reasons, for religious reasons, for personal, professional reasons, for success, for money, for the, for a goal. And what would it be like to actually do the thing with freedom in the moment without having to do it?
To unmission, to totally unmission. What was my mission yesterday? And I've grown so much today. And today's version of me needs to unmission yesterday and what I was and what I did yesterday, to be able to be me today. And often, like you said, we've been so educated into certain things that unmissioning is, it feels like a great task. It can also feel like some sort of a sin, if I may use that word, where we feel we're letting go of something that we shouldn't. Not even letting go, we're giving up something, we're losing something. And that's where the not rejecting of our previous versions of self comes in. How can we unreject ourselves so that we say, you know what, that served me at that time, that really served me. Right now, that's not serving me. And I need to not just unmission, not just unreject myself, but give myself, you were putting it beautifully, permission, the permission on behalf of the mission of today.
And it might be a bit of a surprise too. It might not even be something that we know is possible, right? If we put ourselves in the question mark, then something truly novel can show up. You speak that so brilliantly. And in fact, that's a good bridge maybe to, you shared such a beautiful writing that came out of you this morning. You were being written, right? You were being scripted, being freed. Would you be willing to read that out loud?
Yes. Yes. So this is my intention journal, and I'm going to share this. And every morning I write my intention for the day, and it's not a thought out intention. It's just what comes to me. So it's very much channeled in the sense that, wow, it's amazing to see what was inside, what really comes out. And this is what came this morning. Who am I today? I am today's blank slate. I am the newness of new cells with no recollection of yesterday. I am the newness of new emotions linked to new thoughts. Today is untouched, unfolding in newness. I am a being with only openness, spaciousness. I am new matter. My matter matters. I am the love of the now. I give myself permission to drop the known quantities that do not serve me today. I am the permission, the dream, the beauty, the excitement of all that is new and untouched. I see new color. I hear new sound. I experience new taste, smell, touch, sensation. I walk into today as a new being. And that was today's intention.
That's beautiful to hear, and it's wonderful to feel.
Yeah.
What does that feel like after expressing it?
As we were talking this morning, and I said it felt liberating, and I think there's a depth to that. It's not just liberating. It just felt a sense of that, a relief. I can let go. I can be the newness. I don't have to bring yesterday's experience into the today and feel that I have to take yesterday's responses as part of who I am today, because I don't. There's a freedom in that. And it's been a warm day. As you know, here in South Africa, in my part of South Africa, in Newcastle, it's been relatively cool, and it was spring day on the 1st of September. It was spring day on the 1st of September, and it didn't necessarily feel like that, even though it was getting warmer. And today I just felt that newness in the air. So it all collaborated, came together, and it collaborated with what I was feeling inside. Yesterday is not a factor, but I'm thankful for yesterday, for the fact that it brought me.
It collaborated.
It collaborated.
So I was honored to read that this morning. And then that's the second time I've heard you read it out loud. And each time I can feel more depth. The words that jumped out were spacious and unfolding. And in the dropping known quantities, when you said now I can, a light bulb went off for me. And it's a bit of a catch-22, because when we're talking about doing something that we want to do and somebody says, why do you want to do that? We can usually come up with reasons for it. But when we have something that we want to or can not do, if we're working from a space of surrender and saying, why would I let go of this? The mind has nothing there, because the spaciousness and the opportunity on the other side of the surrender is an unknown quantity. We don't have experience with it. And so it's a bit of a leap of faith, right? But when you said I can, it's almost as if that's the answer to the question why. Why would you want to let go of that? Why would you want to not eat food anymore? Why would you want to not think the thoughts that you think? Why would you want to not use your cell phone? Sound like crazy ideas, right? Why would you want to not drive the car? Why would you want to not pick up your paycheck? Those sound like crazy things. But given that there's no good answer on the other side, when we ask ourselves a question like that, which is maybe a bit of an extreme surrender, saying, well, because I can, that's a leap of faith. That's a courageous act. And it doesn't mean we have to stop using our car or our cell phones or not pick up our paycheck or eat food, but it means we're giving ourselves the freedom to say, I can, if I want to.
That's a very interesting perspective. And I think that's a good question for viewers to ask themselves here. If someone asked you, so why are you letting go of what you knew yesterday? No justification, no reasons, nothing that you have to explain, no explanation necessary. Why? And what's the first thing that comes to you? And it could still be a reason or an explanation, but really, what's the first thing that comes to you? Maybe it's something like, I feel better today in the letting go, and that's all that counts. Or it could be because I believe that letting go is the stepping stone to who I am or can be, or who the being inside that I'd like to release, whatever it is. Maybe it's just a simple I can. So just ask yourself that. Whatever you want to let go of yesterday. No guilt, no rejection of self that served you. Just thank the universe. No rejection of anything like that. But why are you doing that? Why are you letting go? And it's just a beautiful place to be in the letting go.
And then the stepping stones transform themselves into quantum leaping stones.
I like that.
Quantum leap stones. We should use that. Years ago, I was part of a growth and development program, and they used the phrase unreasonable. And they didn't mean that in a negative way. But freeing ourselves even of the reasons, right? And we can catch ourselves even when we're even going through this triage process. This still too is a mental construct that we're trained into. Yeah. And so there's always a reason. And so what their play on words in that program was that you're being reasonable. And most people would say that's a reason to pat myself on the back, right? If you're being reasonable, then you're going along with the crowd and you're accepted. And if we can drop the reasons why we do the things we do, that's what they distinguished as unreasonable. And I think that's what you're describing in having personal access to the ideas of rejection. Again, we think of that as a negative word, but freeing ourselves. And so you were playing with that this morning, and that's why we came up with unreject, right? And we get to unreject ourselves because we get to be free of all the mental constructs that were in the either or ness of yesterday. All of our mental constructs are footed in known quantities and all kinds of labels, good, bad, all duality labels, right? And we're always accepting or rejecting. We think that's a, quote, responsible thing to do. But it's a very constricting thing to do as well. Workable, but constricting. And this freedom you're describing comes from access post rejection, right? With the way that you're describing rejection, post unrejection, free decision making, forward quantum leap stone.
And I just wrote down while you were saying that it's not free from, it's free for. And what is the for? And that's what we're looking at. Free for
Quantum leap stone.
quantum leap. Yes, I like that. Quantum leap stones.
I think we're done here. I think that's all people need to know.
Right, because we've quantum leaped to the end. And when we're looking at that that freedom, that sense of freedom, freedom for what? Freedom for our permissioning. And when we feel that we're on mission today, when we feel called, when we feel in the zone, when we feel creative and productive, and just feeling on mission, very often we think that the reason, a lot of times the reason we don't step into that is because we feel it's a lonely place to be. That there are people outside who are still living yesterday's version, and when we let go of that, we let go of their ideas too. There's no one to come with us. But we tend to go into tribe without even knowing it, without requesting it, because everyone who takes those quantum leaping stones and leaps into the missioning of the present and the permissioning, giving ourselves permission, and also on behalf of the mission, being who we know that we can be, to support our mission. There are others doing that too, and then we find our new tribe, and with that comes, you were speaking this morning about the kind of courage that comes from that.
Well, much the way you channeled your writing this morning and you allowed yourself to be written, you were the vehicle for the channel. And the seeking, again, we get free of the constructs of thinking about the kind of people we want to meet and then going out and doing something about that. That's a say X, produce X kind of intention. Incredibly valuable, but it's one kind of intention, distinct from being received by that new tribe. And if I really can let go of who I am and my expectations about who are the people who are supposed to be around me, much like you channel your words, we end up channeling the people, and the right people show up. And they bring us ideas that are surprising, revelatory.
Yeah. And I think that you were speaking about that leap of faith, the unknown quantities. Are we can we let go of the known quantities because we don't have any measurable way of knowing ourselves with the unknown quantities? Why am I doing this? Because I can. But the I can is that leap of faith. Um, and having that courage, um, there's an inner knowing that in having that courage, um, we will find our tribe, that we will be able to not just relate to our tribe, but we will be able to unfold who we are and our mission with the tribe. Very much as I said to you this morning, that um, I took a picture of what I wrote in my intention journal and sent it to you because it was so easy to share it with you. Whereas it's actually not so easy to share it with just anyone because it's so personal, and I would be exposing this vulnerability. But when you know who you're sharing it with, and they're adding to that courage of the unknown quantity, you're able to share it. You're able to let who you are in the present unfold. You're able to let your mission unfold.
That's beautifully said. And it sounds like it might be daunting for a lot of folks listening. You know, that might sound like a big leap. Transparency is always our challenge, and vulnerability is always our challenge. And it also might sound like this is kind of an esoteric concept. And the beautiful part of this is that we actually do foot in specifics, right? It would be easy for people to listen to us and say, well, so what's the big deal? You're talking about metaphysics and you're talking about a spiritual pursuit. What's that got to do with how I'm going to live my life this afternoon, you know, as I have to get to the grocery store? And this is a very footed and logistics full conversation, in that when we do carry this mindset, the right things that come to us, the ABCs of our lives, and the boxes to check, and the calendar page flips and whatnot, do become very, very simple. And then all of a sudden you've got inspiration, and the surprise intention is not something to change the world. It really is. The surprise intention is actually something to put ourselves in, so that the baby steps that we take, apparently necessarily, it looks like we're probably stuck here in the human body, right? Taking baby steps for quite a while, and hope we're here for quite a while. And as long as we're here, we might as well find some spirit, right? It's a funneled down what happens as above, so below, as they say. Yeah. And life happens similarly, holographically, at every level. And in that spaciousness that we give ourselves emotionally and spiritually, all of a sudden we've got spaciousness and direction and very intentional success, which is surprising on a moment to moment level as we're living the minutes of our lives. I think it's a very interesting way to walk through the day. That's my wish for everybody today. Thank you. Thank you for helping me create that.
Well, thank you for creating it. I think that that's a wonderful departure point for everyone, just being able to, if you have a journal, write it down, or just think about it. What is it that you've been playing with in your mind? Something little that you're seeking freedom for. So what is it that you're seeking freedom for, that you want to unmission who you were and what you were doing yesterday, and just give yourself permission to be unmission today. And it can be something very small, like Tom was saying. How do you apply it to this afternoon? How do we get away from the esoteric concept? So let's go deeper. What is it that you want to do? So what have you been feeling inspired to do? Whether it's writing the first page of a book when you've never written before, maybe starting a journal, crafting in some way, spending time with your children in a new way, doing whatever it is that you haven't done. Perhaps it's doing a Facebook Live or going on Zoom and sending the recording out to people, something that is an unknown quantity. And you say, I want freedom for that. Can you say, I want to do it because I can? Just put that thing down and know that there is freedom in this moment. And as you feel called, go on that Facebook Live, hit that record button, write that first page, and just do it in the moment without thinking of the bigger picture or who you were yesterday. Just do it in this moment. That's your freedom today. So what are you going to do to create that freedom? That's the challenge for this week.
And we'll see everybody next week. We do this every week at 1 o'clock Eastern time, 8 p.m. South Africa time.
7 p.m.
And, excuse me?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yes. Apologies. 7 p.m. 1900. And I just gave myself permission to invariably we forget this. Yeah, it's easy to be in the conversation and almost everybody, and thank you if you've been here this long, right? Almost everybody, I hope, is feeling some sort of inspiration and there's something to do on your list. And realistically, we forget a lot. Human creatures, we forget, we get lost. So I give myself permission to remember that forgetting is also part of the game, and it's also part of the construct that I get to shed and let go of.
That's a wonderful freedom. And with that, give yourself the freedom for something, to do something, to be something, to be someone, to be you right now. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will see you next week on the Mind Massage. And please feel free to contact us. We have a Facebook group that is called The Mind Massage, and you can comment. We'd love to hear your questions, your feelings, your thoughts, comments. Have a beautiful week, everyone.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Good night.